Hello again. Welcome to Healing Disclosures. I was not going to do this video today, but since I'm an obedient child of Source Creator and Mother Sophia, the messages were coming through hot and heavy to get this message out. And today's message is about the trigger, which we know DJT is an awesome trigger, and the trickster. I chose Loki because he's a shapeshifter and he does trick people into doing things, not always in a malevolent intention, but he's very frustrating as a being. So we're going to discuss this today. These things, these concepts, these events have come through the collective. By and large, it's by design. So all those big energies that come through, it's pushing to the surface things that need to be dealt with. Okay. A typical being mostly listens to their ego as they navigate their life. That's what the culture around us, that the culture that we've all grown up in, teaches us to listen to the ego. I'm here to tell you the ego is just going to fill your whole life with a bunch of non-serving ways that is not in your highest and best interest and leaves you with a whole mountain of things that trigger you that need to be dealt with. So, in case you have not already gleaned, this conversation is going to probably trigger you. But I mean it from the most sincere intention of addressing the issue that it is, which is not about me. It's not about the words that I say. It's not about either one of these pictures on the screen. It's not about the word on my shirt. The bottom of this says, hurting your feelings isn't a crime. And that's true. But our feelings won't get so hurt or feel hurt if we deal with the things that actually caused us to become hypersensitive. So let's dig in. Being triggered is super common, right? People get triggered for all sorts of reasons, but I've just generalized it by persons, places, or things. Okay. So there are triggers that come up because you anticipate them. You're going into a situation where every time you go there, you feel triggered, that kind of thing. Or because someone says something and it's even maybe just a phrase or a word that brings you back to a feeling that you had in a completely different scenario, a completely different space and completely different people. And yet the same feelings erupt. That's your trigger. And you want to take it out on the person that had no idea of what has occurred in your past that you did not deal with. That's not the best way to handle triggers. It's not the best way to handle anything, really. So what we've learned in this ascension journey, every day is another opportunity to learn lessons, right? And we thank the universe for that because it helps us be better evolved souls. That is the goal. That is the goal. That's my goal anyway. I won't speak for you, but if you're watching me, you're pretty much on the same path, right? You want to be in service to humanity and elevate humanity and not get stuck in this matrix of shame, blame, pain, victim mentality stuff, just always pointing fingers at people and projecting your own insecurities on them. That's not that's a non-serving way that we develop habits that are not in our highest and best good. Okay. It makes it harder and harder for us to be around anybody or do anything because everywhere we turn, we're getting triggered. So triggers are just, in a simplistic term, a item in your own being, your own soul, your own heart, your mind that you have to deal with. It's a weakness, it's a core wound, it is an insecurity, it's a fear, it's any of these things. And what it does is it makes you hypersensitive And then you focus on the person that triggered you after the fact, instead of dealing with the actual event that caused the reaction to begin with. So this is where we're learning our better behavior. The proper way to deal with it is to pause, don't react, don't project, and really tune into our own being. Where is this coming from? These are some of the questions that, I mean, so many people get triggered and they're just lose their shit. They just go off and they don't make any sense. None of that energy that's being expressed is productive. It's not positive. And you end up causing more layers of more core wounds, and you're, harming family members or friends, or you're disconnecting from people because they triggered you. Let's just take a pause. Let's go back and figure out what the heck is happening and why is it happening. There is a method to this madness. You do not have to continue to keep spinning out of control every time something happens, because this is another newsflash. You do not control what other people do. Nope, we don't. We don't control what other people do. We don't control what other people say. We can't control what they think. The only being you have control over is yourself. And a lot of us struggle in controlling our own self. We let our emotions and our ego drive us down this chaotic pathway, and it serves no purpose but chaos, negative, low vibrational feelings. I'm going to try my very best to break this down for you. I have done what I don't normally do and made some notes so I don't miss anything, because this is such a hot topic. I see it playing out in my own ground crew. I see it playing out in the collective. It serves no purpose on the positive side. And I just really, really, really want to try to give people some tools to cut through the muck and get down to the core source of the issue, heal it, and let's move on. Okay? Because this is not what life is supposed to be about. It's just not. So the difference is the trigger really comes from the exterior. The trigger's about a core wound, but we get triggered by something in our exterior. Okay. We see something we don't like. We hear something we don't like. We feel something that reminds us of a time where we didn't like that feeling. Those are exteriors. That's your triggers. The trickster attaches to our soul, attaches to our being in a, not a malevolent way, but in a, hey, you forgot this little shadow over here, and I'm bringing it to your attention by causing some internal chaos. So that's the big differences there. Okay. Neither one are going to actually harm you. They do make you feel uncomfortable, and it is so that you pay attention to it. It's so that one day you go, you know what? This is craziness. I have got to get to the bottom of this, because now I have alienated myself from all these people, places, and things because of these triggers. And these triggers aren't going away. They're actually getting worse. It's getting bigger. So we have to deal with it. So the trigger causes an out of proportion response. Okay. Something that's really, really hypersensitive, like all of a sudden you're just off the charts in frustration or anger or some emotion, crying, whatever. So, like I said before, the culture that we've all grown up in is this victim mentality, like, how dare you say that? Who do you think you are? I remind you, while we should all be kind and compassionate and empathetic to our brothers and sisters, understanding that other beings also have free will choice, they also have free speech, they also have the ability to make their own decisions about their life. You do not have to agree. You don't have to react either. You can just be. Just let it go on by like a little leaf floating down the creek. You don't have to give it attention. That is your free will choice. When you all of a sudden act like my dogs, when somebody jumps at the door or knocks on the door, they're just like, I'm going to just attack them for no reason. It's out of fear. It's out of an unsettling, an uncomfortable feeling, not knowing what to expect. It's misguided. Retract that energy, retract that negative response that's totally over the top and uncalled for, and let's get to the bottom of it. Okay, so that we can stop being a divisive country, a divisive world, and we're actually more kind and compassionate to our brothers and sisters and really to ourselves. We are doing ourselves a disservice by allowing this chaos to continue. And it's really just the fact that we haven't stood up in our sovereignty and our own being and told our ego to shut up. Like, if you can't be quiet in the back seat, go to the yard, go outside. I don't want to hear it, because you lead me down all these paths that are chaotic and non-serving and just gives me more pain and more frustration and more loneliness. And realizing that is your aha moment. So when you experience a trigger, these are some of the opportunities that you have to observe instead of being immersed in that feeling or whatever you're having. Pull back, kind of pan out, look at it from like an eagle's perspective. Not so ingrained and immersed, but above. Rise above and look down and kind of evaluate, where the heck did this come from? So you want to know, why does this person, place, or thing bother me? Like, what is it about them, it, that bothers me? Why do I feel whatever you're feeling? Why do I feel anger? Why do I feel rage? Why do I feel disgust? Why do I feel nauseated? Whatever it is. Why do I feel frustrated? When did I start to react this way? This is a key one, okay? Because somewhere in your past, and it could literally be like a long, long ago, that something happened and it invoked in you an area that developed a shadow, a weakness, a wound. You were hurt, or there was some trauma or something. And it was walled up and shoved aside, but it still gave off negative energy in your being. And it exerted that energy each and every time something came close to feeling like it felt before. And that becomes uncomfortable, and it becomes this friction, and you want to avoid it at all costs. So you react and you project and you do all these things other than deal with the actual shadow. You may want to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Now, this statement may upset you, but I'm just going to be honest. Pain, uncomfortable, friction, not going to kill you. Not going to kill you. People don't die of being uncomfortable. People do not die of pain. They die of other processes that cause pain. Pain in itself is not going to kill you. Growth comes with friction. When we get uncomfortable, we start to figure out that the space that we've been maintaining, we've outgrown. And it's time to set new boundaries so that we have room to evolve and room to grow, room to realize that we're no longer the person we were yesterday. We're always evolving, or we should be. That's the goal. So you should no longer identify with some crap that happened to you 2 decades ago the same way you look at it today. You're no longer that person, but you feel that way because you have not dealt with it. It's been a pin in your soul evolution, and it's stuck there, and it's going to stay there until you deal with it. No one can deal with it for you. You have to determine to do it on your own time and your own terms. So hopefully these things can help you navigate that. But I want to caution you, whenever you dive down this rabbit hole, okay, for me, when I did this myself, I avoided a lot of these scenarios because I didn't want to go back there. I felt like going back there was regressing. Well, that's untrue because I had never dealt with it. So I had pieces of me had never left there, right? So my physical form had moved on down the highway, carrying all these boxes of stuff that I needed to deal with that I thought because I boxed up that I had dealt with and I had not. So you can't really look at, I don't want to go back there realistically if you're still getting triggered. If you're still getting triggered, parts of you are still there. You need to go back and pick up the pieces. Heal, forgive, go through all the things, and then you can legitimately move forward. But it takes work and it takes commitment to no one and nothing but yourself. Is this truly in my highest and best good to think and feel this way? In my own experience, I can tell you that a lot of my behavior that was strictly born out of not wanting to feel how I felt then again caused a lot more damage to people around me and my own soul than if I would have just dealt with it. But it's the fear of the unknown, right? It's the gosh, that felt like I felt like crap for weeks after that. I don't want to go back there. But again, today, you're not the person you were then. Hopefully, you are a more evolved, better prepared soul. My videos are literally being put out because Source is always saying the collective needs to know how to deal with this stuff. If you've done it, put it out there and help them. That is the whole purpose of this channel. I don't care about any of the other stuff. If 5 people watch my video and it only helps one, so be it. If 5,000 people watch my video and it only helps one, so be it. The people that need to hear and see and feel and help, get the help and are ready for it, it's out there for you. So please file through the videos. Almost every obstacle and victory that I've had on this journey has been documented. Even things I thought were like not that big of a deal. Downloads come in and sources like, this needs to be shared. So take advantage of it. I've done a lot of the work and then documented it so you get a leg up. A lot of what we feel and really take on as a personal attack, it's not a personal attack. It's also our ego. And our ego is going to be like, how dare so-and-so talk to you that way? How dare so? Do they not know who you are? Well, the truth of that question is you don't know who you are. If you truly understood that you are a source light being, that you have goodness within you from birth, no one gives it to you, it is innate because we are of source creator. And that you within your being, within your sovereign state, have the power to heal yourself and to be kind and compassionate to yourself and to love yourself. See, that's the part that people don't know about themselves, or they feel guilty about actually acknowledging it. I'm not sure which one it is. It's probably a combination of both. The world that we've grown up in has taught us that we don't deserve love and we don't deserve to give our own selves rest and healing and compassion and kindness, but we got to give it to everybody else. We got to keep giving it to everybody else, even if we don't have it to give from our own sovereign being. And that is not true. All that does is keep you in a low vibrational state of victim mentality, of feeling the shame and the blame and the guilt. And then you feel over time, this manifests in physical symptoms: high heart rate, GI stress. You're either chronically constipated or having diarrhea, nausea all the time, can't eat, can't digest food, dizzy, shaking, nervousness. So you get all these labels: anxiety, depression, uh, any number of things. It's coming from the dis-ease, the imbalance of your energetic body. All these spots in your soul, in your life, that have caused all these blockages and walled up this negative energy, they're all working to distort positive energy in your system, in your body, in your energy body. We should be a column of light that is unencumbered, source creator to our heart, to the heart of earth. That is our column of light. That is the pillar. But instead, because we have taken on all this crap over our life and been told that we're not worthy of love and compassion and healing and kindness, we just keep taking and taking and taking and taking because we're told that's what we're supposed to do. The energy has to navigate through all this, and it just gets starred out. So we end up releasing all this fractalated energy instead of holding it within our body and letting it ease the blockages. And that's where you go from force, like you're forcing yourself to be happy. You're forcing yourself to do the right thing. You're forcing yourself to love yourself. You're forcing yourself to be kind. You go from force to flow with that energy coming straight from source, and you're grounded to the earth, to Huna Matea. We know that we are loved. We know that we are compassionate people, that we deserve compassion and we want to give compassion. We are kind and we display kindness, and it just comes naturally. That is the soul evolution, and clearing out all this crap is necessary to get there. Be kind to yourself. That's the first thing you have to learn how to do. Break the old non-serving habits of just pushing through without giving yourself rest, without giving yourself the ability to meditate, without going out in nature and being in the sunlight. Stop being so harsh on yourself. You deserve better. And when you stand up and say, F this, I deserve better, go get it. No one's stopping you. If someone is stopping you, tell them to sit the F down, because I deserve better, and go get it. So many people find themselves in a situation where they've been just meandering through, following the masses, and then all of a sudden they realize that they're just living in this constant state of fear, pain, and frustration. And really, everything triggers you because you're so out of alignment. You're so unhappy and frustrated. And it really starts within, because you, on a soul level, you know you have given your power away. You have let people bully you around. You have let other people make decisions for you that is not in your highest and best good. And you have no boundaries. None. People can just walk all over you. You're like, this is just the life I live. Well, that's not living. That's not living. Please do your very, very best to go within. I mean, if that's what makes you feel happy, I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong. But I'm telling you, from a spiritual perspective, from an energetic healing perspective, being full of all this chaos is not living your highest and best life. It's not the spiritual light being that source creator, Mother Sophia, created you to be. There's a lot more out there, and I invite you to take the steps forward to find out. So when you want to give yourself love and compassion and kindness for the first time, even that feels uncomfortable. I know for myself, I ignored myself for a very long time, very long. I was very comfortable giving it all away. and I was very uncomfortable giving it to myself. I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror, and it wasn't about what my face looked like. It was what my soul was what was happening in my soul, with the energy there. I just felt like there was this huge void. And for a long time, that void was truly feeling like this emptiness, right? And then somewhere along the way, I realized that emptiness was the opportunity, that opportunity to create something really beautiful. It's like a blank canvas. It went from this black hole of nothingness to a blank canvas where I could really create the life that I really felt like I deserved. And it took me a long time to get there. This is not something you're going to do in the snap of your fingers. It takes effort. It takes commitment to yourself. And it takes a little, like I say all the time, a little bit of courage and a whole lot of faith. So, but it's totally possible. If I did it, anybody can do it. I am not any better or special or whatever than anyone else. We all have these similar obstacles that we've had to traverse in this life. And they've left this toxic debris within us. It is really time to clean it out and stop carrying that stuff around, because it doesn't serve us well at all. And that's not what fifth dimension living is like. It will not exist there. You have to clear this out so that you can continue to evolve and ascend. And that is our goal. That is the goal for the light being. So when you start to recognize what's triggering you, when you really get through the mud and the muck and the overt feelings, you realize that it's really the soul that's been affected. Okay. People may say, well, this happened with so and so, and it just broke my heart. That's true. That can be very true. But it left a wound in your soul, right? Your heart chakra is shut down. That energy is just leaking out because it can't truly flow. It's leaking in and leaking out. It's not clear. It's fractalated, and over time, it causes actual physical symptoms. A lot of people have chest pain, and it's kind of diffuse. It's not really on the heart. It's just kind of around it. They don't get a real medical diagnosis. It comes back as anxiety, comes back as nervousness. I worked more than 25 years in the emergency department. I've delivered this diagnosis several times, knowing full well on my own soul level that it was a soul problem. It wasn't a medical problem, but had manifested into a medical problem, which Western medicine doesn't understand. They don't want to understand, and they don't recognize the power of the energy that we all have within us. Allowing yourself to feel the feelings is a huge step. We're told, don't cry, shake it off. It's not that bad. You don't cry, don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. Well, I'm here to tell you, you need to feel the feelings, whatever it is: anger, pain, frustration, sorrow. If it makes you cry, fine. If it makes you scream, fine. If it makes you want to run around in circles until you just have no energy left, fine. Do it. Do that on your own terms without harming anyone until that feeling is less sharp, less pervasive. When it gets a little muted and you get tired of running around in circles, when you're hoarse because you've been screaming at the mirror, that's whenever you say, my spirit team, source creator, my angels, my archangels, all of the above, please show me the lesson that I have been missing all these many years. Whenever I get triggered by blah, 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 what is it that I need to know about that so I can heal from it completely and let it go? Now, you are genuinely intentioned in saying that, not being like flippant about it. You're going to get the information. And we get free will choice all along the way, don't we? We do. And so as that information comes in, be open to accepting it. And that's the second point. Recognize that when you ask the universe for something, we don't get to dictate how it comes back to us. An answered prayer many times does not look like we envisioned. Again, for me, decades, I said, please, please show me that I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be used in this life. What is my purpose? If I am not on that path, please place me there, whatever that looks like. I want to be of service, and I want to do what I was meant to do. I prayed that prayer for decades. When it was dropped into my lap that I was not intended to work as a bedside nurse any longer, that no longer served me, that I had to heal from that it was actually damaging my soul in a major way, but that I was going to take that knowledge and I was going to take those skills, and Source Creator and Mother Sophia and Kuan Yin were giving me tons more skill and knowledge and wisdom that I would take in a positive direction, again, putting me on the path that I asked to be put on. And that is where I would go. And that is where I would be in service to Source Creator and Mother Sophia and the greater collective. It did not look anything like I thought that prayer was going to look like, but it was still an answered prayer. And it has been blessing after blessing after blessing. And when I realized I did not control that, it started coming in hot and heavy. So understanding that that white knuckle grip of control you think you have on the universe or other people, that's false. That is a false sense of control. The only thing we have control over is ourselves. And people struggle to control themselves. They allow their ego to bully them into doing things that do not serve themselves or the greater good very well. So ponder that. Whenever you are asking for assistance from your spirit team, you're going to get it. You have to be in a receptive mode for that information to come in. However it comes into you, it can come in a dream. It can come in meditation. It can come as a download. You can have this aha moment where all of a sudden you're connecting the dots. And then accept it in. Help me integrate this into my life. So this is not just a one-off moment where I get this moment of clarity. I want this clarity going forward. Once you get the message and the lesson, whatever it is, on a conscious level, then you have to literally integrate the changes. Okay. Again, another point in time where you get your free will choice. Are you going to be able to have the courage and the faith to do the work? Or are you going to shy away from it because it's uncomfortable? It's all really uncomfortable. I mean, is it really comfortable to be in this constant state of being triggered? Is it really comfortable to be in this constant state of this internal chaos? I don't think so. I think that's two sides of the same coin. You want to give thanks to your spirit team whenever they help you discover what the lesson is and that they're going to help you heal and that you're doing the work and all these things. But the really, really important part of that is you have to really understand that you're going to give thanks to all the players, okay? All the people, the places and the things that have triggered you. Thank them. True thanking them for providing this opportunity to learn the lesson, which enables your soul to grow and evolve. Because without it, we wouldn't. And we have to in order to get into the next dimension. Okay? It's just a matter of really being grateful for what the universe provides for us. And the fact that you're having to do this after however long, it just means that you have not accepted the lesson all this many years or what, weeks or months or whatever it is. For me, it was years. And you wasted that time in a sense because it's a negative loop. It's like a time loop. You want to move beyond it. You can't move beyond it unless you deal with it. It's just that simple. So if you're someone who understands that you have a higher self, and your higher self is always from a place of neutrality in your highest and best good. Your higher self does not have an agenda. Your higher self does not have a personality. Your higher self does not really like make jokes and that kind of thing. If you think you're talking to your higher self and your higher self is really manipulative or kind of condescending or kind of has anything other than a neutral tone, it's trickster energy. It's not your true higher self. And that's born out of lack of faith, lack of true believing in yourself, things like that. So again, that's that internal chaos, that internal conflict. You want to ask yourself though, is there any more that I need to learn from this event? Make sure while you're in that moment that you've covered all the bases. If you get, yes, there's more to this, then go back at the beginning and ask yourself, what else happened in this event that I have not addressed? And just keep doing that until you get clearance from your higher self. I always ask people to confirm with other light beings that are clear the answers that you're getting, because this helps to, it's a check and a balance to make sure that you're truly clear and you're getting good guidance. If you have trickster source or trickster higher self, it's going to be hard to know that unless you get someone else that doesn't to confirm things for you. Trickster energy is cloaked often. So someone who does like an energy scan may not pick up on the trickster energy. And that's because they really want, that trickster energy wants us to really dive deep. This is usually a really, really deep-seated issue that we have not recognized. And it causes this super frustrating response, right? Because it's happened in many of us. It's happened to me fairly recently. We know that we have done all kind of shadow work, right? And we've done the things and we're doing our very, very best to be sovereign and to be authentic and all these things. And then we realize maybe I picked up some stuff along the way that I thought was good advice, or I thought was good information, or I thought was a good tactic. But now the person I am today, that more evolved soul, has to recognize that that's an actual non-serving way or a non-serving habit or non-serving person or a draining person or something like that. And we have to address it. So it's really more of an internal inventory that never really gets done. You never really get to complete it because there's all this free will choice at play. So because you accepted and adopted something 10 years ago that really worked for you then, now you're not that same person. And those things may not be in your highest and best good. It may not be of your benefit. So an old habit is commonly why a trickster energy will surface, because you think it's okay because it's just been part of your day to day, and it's something you really actually need to address. Let's see. Keys to success. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Number one, stop projecting your judgments, fears, and insecurities on other people, places, and things. We see this all the time. All the time. And a lot of times, I see it from people that are real good about telling others how to handle shadow work and telling others what they need to do, but they're not real good about practicing it themselves. Very hypocritical. It's common, very common. It's also not serving anyone's best interest. It's very low vibrational and it needs to be addressed. So stop it. It's free will choice. Stop doing it. Figure out why you're doing it and stop it. Find your way to truly being open to healing. There's a lot of people that talk about wanting to feel a certain way or clear out certain things, be a certain person, but they're really not open to all the things that are available to accomplish what they say that they want. They want it to look a certain way, or they want it to be in a certain certification, a certain medical journal, or a pill, or a potion, or something. When they realize it's within them and it's energetic 99% of the time, they're like, no, that can't be. And it is. So be open-minded, be open-hearted, be open in your spirit that the solution may not be as hard as you made it out to be, number one. And when someone offers you true assistance, and there are others that are like, absolutely, this helped me so much more than anything else, be open to it, because at some point you have to say, what do I have to lose? Forgiveness, complete forgiveness. I have talked about forgiveness a lot. I have videos that are specifically just about that. I've experienced this for myself. It is not easy, but it is necessary. When you hear someone say, I've forgiven you, but I'm not going to forget, I was one of those people. That is a non-serving habit. You are continuing to burden the other soul or souls involved and yourself with the event, whatever it was, because you say, I've not forgotten. Now, I want to point out that it's usually the ego that wants to keep score. It's usually the ego that wants to be very super judgmental and label people, and that's all low vibrational. It doesn't serve any good purpose. It only helps the non-light beings around us. It just holds us back. You are not in your own highest and best good, and those are your tactics. We have to truly forgive. We have to forgive ourselves for the part that we played in whatever event occurred. We forgive those that were involved. Understand that in our soul contract, we ask certain beings to be the villain, because we have to have duality. And we have to learn from the negatives and the positives of life. So holding grudges and keeping score and, all that, I mean, these are actual beings. Your soul asked to fulfill a role in your life for your own soul to evolve. And you are stifling it, listening to your ego and being judgmental. Stop it. Be willing to let go of persons, places, and things that cause negative energy. Honoring your sovereignty and enforcing the healthy boundaries, no matter what. This is a hard one. Plenty of people are in karmic relationships. What does that mean? These are relationships that universe provided to us for lessons. And they were never meant to last into the ascended new earth, into Hunamatea, fifth dimension, because they were karmic, full of low vibration, full of negativity, not meant to last forever. You may or may not have a divine soul mate. You may or may not have a twin flame. That's not the point. The point is you recognize that there's this person, place, or thing in your life. It's usually a person that is constantly challenging you, constantly causing disruptions of your harmony, constantly wounding your soul. At a certain point, with true sovereignty, we would ask our higher self, is this relationship in my highest and best good? Is this relationship karmic? In doing that, you get an answer. Yes, it's karmic relationship. That implies it's not meant to last. That implies it's time to make a decision. It's time to cut the negative, non-serving ways, people, places, and things out of our lives. There is no room for the goodness to come in if we are full of all this crap. Let it go. A lot easier said than done. I know it. I know it. I know it. Spouses, children, parents, jobs, cousins. I mean, any number of things, maybe multiple. You know, in my instance, I lost almost all semblance of family, um, community. You know, it just was all really, really eye-opening to see how many things were put in my path to provide me with opportunities to grow that I would leave behind and take forward the lessons they gave me in full gratitude to a dimension that they would not exist in. Really, it happens for a lot of us. That's why they say that the ending is not for everyone. You've heard that before. Because a lot of people in your life right now, today, are not going to be in your life in the future. They were never going to be in your life in the future. And remember that you control yourself and they control themselves. You don't get to change their soul contract to make yourself feel better in this now moment. You have to understand the big picture. Where am I going? They were never meant to go with me. And then make the decision. Put your ego in the back seat. I added the backyard today. I thought, you know, if you're in the back seat and you're really irritating me and you won't be quiet, let me put you outside. Might be what you got to do. A lot of people say, we got to have your ego. Ego keeps you safe. I don't know. I think there's a part of your brain that says that's fire. Don't put your hand in it. It's your ego that says, it only hurt for a second. You can do it. You see what I mean? To me, the ego serves no purpose, no positive purpose, because it just accentuates the negative, non-serving aspects of our personality, which causes more problems and gives you more things, more shadows to work through. So realize that your ego is just amplifying the noise that you need to cut out. And when you cut that out, things get a whole lot easier, quieter, more peace and calm. That is a wonderful feeling. Self-reflection in a place of spiritual, emotional, mental neutrality is key to processing without bias. That's going to take some work to get there. I can tell you. It's a daily struggle to be in a place of neutrality, some more than others. Also very common. Don't feel bad. You want to ground. You want to get your feet in the ground. You want to put in the grass, the mud, the sand, water. Be out in nature. Take the walks, even if it's 5 minutes, go outside. Be in the sunlight. Allow that to help further activate your DNA and open up your chakras and help push the light through. Meditation, if you can do it, even for 5 minutes. Doing breath work is something that a lot of nervous people can do, where they have trouble tuning things out. Just focus for even 1 minute, 60 seconds. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 8, exhale over 8. Do that for 60 seconds. Just doing that will have an immense effect on a chaotic soul, a chaotic being. Truly believe your worth. Truly own that you deserve honesty, love, compassion, kindness. These are all things that are not encouraged by our culture. Sometimes it's not even encouraged by our family members or our spouses or whatever. It doesn't mean you don't deserve it. You have to own it and you have to fight for it, because people want to take what is really ours. People want to take our power. We want to take our light. We want to take our energy, and we let them, because that's what we're guided to do. That's what we're told to do by not our guides, not our celestial guides, but the things around us, you know, the culture that we live in. That's not in our highest and best good. Keep giving, 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 but never giving to ourselves. If we don't do it for ourselves, we don't have it to give. That's fact. So please start caring for yourself better. Be kind to yourself. Understand that all these triggers and all this crap that makes you feel really, really less than, it's artificial. It's not real. It's become real in your mind. You got to deal with the stuff, heal it, and move on. That's not who you were meant to be. You deserve better. The ability to love and forgive ourselves fully opens the flood of healing that we need. When that flood of energy starts, I have a lot of people say, what is this that I'm feeling? Like this is after they're clearing and they don't have any blockages anymore. They don't have any negative cords and attachments. They don't have any of the stuff that they've been carrying around with them. They feel the flow of light source energy and it makes them nervous. They're like, what is this? The knee-jerk reaction for people that have dealt with that in their life before is that it's an anxiety attack. It's not. Go ground, go outside, share that energy with the earth. Give thanks that it's flowing again, that it's not blocked. Meditate. That energy serves to open up the blockages, keep a free flow of energy in, and help heal in all ways, in your aura, in your energy core, in your body, in your chakras, in your mind. It'll help heal and clear out a lot of what's been happening for a long, long time. Like I said, these blockages, these things, these weaknesses cause physical symptoms down the road if they're left alone, unchecked, unhealed. Clearing all this out, you have to give yourself time to integrate the healing. Give yourself time to allow that process of energy to flow. Detox all these toxins that have been stored up in your energy body all this life, the whole life basically. And when you do, you really start to feel alive. We're moving from the numbness and we're feeling the flow of energy. It's very unnerving for people at first, and then they realize it's a good thing. And then they realize that they have power. They took their power back. They're sovereign. They're loving themselves again. They have peace. They have calmness. And it doesn't have to come from anyone else. It comes through them from Source Creator, and it is within their being all the time, always. It's a huge step to understand all these people, places, and things that we have blamed for making us feel bad was not in our highest and best good. Do people do things that hurt our feelings? Absolutely. Do people say things that we don't agree with? Absolutely. But do we need to put in a change of address to Painville? Do we just live there? We just never, ever, ever advance beyond that feeling and never give ourselves the green light to let it go. Let it go. So do the work. Be grateful for all the steps because that is an evolved soul. That is what unity conscious and embodying Christ consciousness looks like. When you let go of judging, when you let go of labeling, when you let go of projecting and pointing the finger and screaming that everybody's triggering you and who do they think they are and all that stuff, shut your ego up. Don't hold grudges. Don't half-ass forgive people. True forgiveness is in totality, not with clauses and exclusions. Don't live in the pain. Don't live in fear. Don't live feeling like you don't deserve to be loved and healed and have compassion for yourself. So we get triggered. We have anger. We have frustration. Acknowledge it. I'm feeling things I shouldn't be feeling. Why is that? What's going on? Go through those questions. Accept it. Ask for the lesson. Accept it for what it is. Sometimes it's really simple and we've made it a mountain out of a molehill. Give true forgiveness in totality to all beings involved with the event. Gratitude for that being shown to us so that we can release it and let it go. Allow the healing to integrate. Give yourself the time it takes to integrate the healing. It's not going to be immediate. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, has felt that immediate release of the weightlifting, but you still have to process the integration of that energy leaving, that negative energy leaving. It leaves behind this like little trail of toxic debris. That takes a little time to get out. And what you'll see is your physical form will actually purge this. You'll have a runny nose, you might have a little GI stuff, you might have a skin eruption, you might have some headache, you might have to take a nap and you wake up feel like a new person. It's different for everyone, but it's still an integral part of allowing that process, allowing that healing process. And then you find peace and calmness. And these people, places, and things that normally trigger you no longer trigger you. And you won't even realize it until one day you'll be like, huh, I just saw Donald Trump talking and I didn't lose my shit. It doesn't even bother me anymore because I realize I don't have control over other people. And whatever came out of his mouth doesn't change who I am. I'm going to be sovereign and an alignment to source creator and understand that my plan and my purpose is for me to do blah, blah, blah. And then you own it. You enforce your boundaries that keep you in alignment to source creator and you stay sovereign. And this is something we have to check in with source repeatedly, repeatedly throughout the day. But that's what, I mean, recently I've had several conversations with people about, that are in different religions and stuff like that. And they believe in certain things, and then they hear reincarnation, and they go, "Oh no, there's no reincarnation." And it's such a, I don't know, it's such a disservice that's been done through the religions. They've manipulated people to believe things that just are made up, fact, made up. To understand that we have the power within our own being, working with Source Creator, like I cannot tell you how many times a day I'm like, Source, what does this mean? Like, what's going on here? Mother Sophia, can you help me? There are so many people, I mean, like congregations of people that gather to pray and they want their prayers heard and they want to have a conversation with God. And then they encounter people like me who don't believe in any religion because that's all man-made, but have like the most sincere, deepest, sovereign faith in Source Creator and Mother Sophia. And I talk to my angels and my guides, and I talk to Source all the time, multiple times a day. And they go, what? That's not real. Oh, it's real. It's a matter of perspective, choice, dealing with your stuff, and accepting truth when it comes to you. Your soul recognizes it. You're not going to get the heart palpitations, the GI stuff, the dizziness, you're not going to get all the negative emotions whenever you're in communication with Source. You might be getting that at the local church. I don't know. That's your body telling you you are where you're supposed to be or you're not. There's a lot of power and there's a lot of guidance that we ignore that comes through our system, our bodies, all the time. To deal with these triggers, to deal with people, places, and things that trigger us and open up that flow of energy is for the greater good. As you increase and evolve your capacity to be a compassionate Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, evolved soul, that ripples through the collective. If you want to truly change the world, you start with changing yourself. That is the main thing that we all have to do. There is not there's not a white horse and a white knight that's going to come in and save you from yourself. You have to do that. We are trying to give you the tools to help you discern what's best for you. This may not resonate with you at all. If it does, we're happy to help you. please visit us either in the Healing Disclosures on Telegram or the QET room on Telegram. If you really just want to get into clearing out your energy and navigating this course on your own, QET is where you should come. Healing Disclosures is kind of all encompassing, and we will be happy to help with this. It's not easy. Having a support system that understands is very, very important. It's been very important for other people to feel like they're no longer isolated because they have cut all these people out of their life from all the triggers. And then they go back and they do the work and they go, yeah, well, maybe they weren't meant to be in my life anyway. I needed to do that work though. And that was what they were showing. So I hope this didn't trigger you too bad, but if you did, you just know you got a lot of shadow work to do, and we are here to help you. So thank you for tuning in to Healing Disclosures today, and I will see you guys next time.